Representative Joaquin Castro went to Eagle Pass, which is an area along the southern border in Texas. And he went and took a look at these barrel traps and buoys, the ones that are wrapped with barbed wire
razor
and who
wire,
have killed. It's razor wire?
Yeah. It's like a saw. It's like saw on the border.
It's maimed pregnant women, or at least one pregnant woman. If it's killed people.
Yep.
And in a tweet in response to it, Greg Abbott said something that called them, the bodies that drowned. No, they were people that drowned. People that were maimed by razor wire and drowned to death because of these barrel traps that are being placed in the Rio Grande so that they have to go to deeper areas of the water and are more likely to be intercepted along the border. This is, I guess, an area that had been traditionally easier to cross through, but now there's like death traps that are submerged and that are killing people. So Castro went down there, and this is his video showing the insane barbarity at play here.
Know that there's been a lot of controversy about these barrel traps that are being placed by Governor Abbott in the Rio Grande and what exactly they're doing, and the state says that they're not a danger to anybody. Well, I want you to look right here at this chainsaw type device they hit right in the middle of these buoys, and then if you come right over here, you can see in the distance the razor wire, all that razor wire right against the river. So you really have a situation where the state government and Greg Abbott are treating human beings like animals. These are folks who are asylum seekers who try to petition for asylum in the United States. And this is how the men, women, and children, what they're seeing here when they try to present for asylum. It's incredibly dangerous, incredibly inhumane, and it's the reason that I've said that it's barbaric, because it is. You see that go all along there. People are getting stuck. There was a dead body that was stuck to this last week. Reports of a child that died. If you go closer to this razor wire, there's people's clothing that has been stuck to the wire because they've gotten stuck in that wire. And the state troopers, even if when they see families with a baby, with a 4-year-old, a 6-year-old, they won't help the family if they're stuck in that wire. So it's incredibly inhumane, and that's why we're out here. Operation Lone Star has also been devastating to the border community. They've seized private property. This is supposed to be a public park. You can see that they've taken it over for their operation, so the public can't really use it much anymore. So it's gotten very dangerous, not just for the migrants. The state troopers have now cut off CBP from doing its job. They're very much interfering with the work that CBP is responsible for, and then it's dangerous for the community as well.
What he's referring to at the end there is that Customs and Border Patrol is, supposedly federal agency, right? Not supposedly, it's supposed to be. And Abbott has been superseding the federal government's authority by doing this. It's in part a race to be more barbaric than DeSantis, I guess. Like these two big state Republican governors competing on a national stage as to who can provide the most blood or hatred for a national right-wing audience. But it's just crazy to me that Biden hasn't been more, I think, aggressive from a Department of Justice perspective on this, because this is not Abbott's authority. This is the federal government's authority.
Biden, or even just float like, hey, the Hague, the International Criminal Court is going, like, he should, if we were serious about like the West and our institutions, and Abbott would be going to the Hague.
Yeah. The problem though is that Biden has now one of his like worst
Send
qualities.
A lawyer down there.
What'd you say?
I was going to say, we'll send a lawyer down there.
Yeah, sure. Right. They'll draft a memo. One of his worst qualities, and I think in many ways Biden has exceeded some of my expectations, but where he has been a real failure, in my opinion, is in his complete cowardice about the border. He is terrified of being called soft on the border, so much so that he extended Title 42. He tried to keep a lot of those draconian anti-asylum seeker measures in place. And he's not standing up to a governor who's essentially giving him the middle finger and saying, no, this is my border and I'm going to maim migrants and asylum seekers at my disposal and whenever I want to. So this is a failure of Merrick Garland. It's a failure of Biden to not be more aggressive on this front. And I really wish that he would use the office of the presidency, the bully pulpit at the very least, to call this out, let alone threaten Abbott with legal action.